At 3 years old, I was fitted for hearing aids, having been born deaf. And since then, for the past 20 years of my life, rather, I have just had old technology that has primarily amplified the sound in my ears. May it be the environment around me, may it be the person speaking in front of me, maybe be the music going on to the right side of me. It all blended into one sound, making it very difficult for me to understand whoever I needed to understand. And so it wasn't until about 2017 where I was referred here by Miss Carol Gilbert. And what she said is, you got to check this place out. And so she made the appointment for me. Actually, she's a real close friend of mine. And coming in here for the very first time, it felt different to me. It did not feel like the doctor's office, the doctor's appointment. At first, I thought, okay, it's just another checkup. But as I walked in, the receptionist was smiling. Welcome, hi, how are you? How can we help you today? And it was just, from the first start, a great experience. And then I sat down with Dr. Koskowski and we reviewed a few options. We checked my hearing, we did a few tests, and she actually opted for a right ear hearing aid that I did not have before. I only had a left ear hearing aid for, well, almost my whole life. And that actually changed my life because I was able to use both sides of my brain to understand, which helped tremendously. On top of that, there is a huge difference in the technology from the first 20 years of my life to the last 5. And what that new technology has done is it's able to effectively drown out the outside environment and hone in and focus on what it needs to focus on. So an example would be if I'm in a restaurant with my wife and there's all the noise and commotion, the waiter drops a glass next to us, the other couple is yelling, and I'm just trying to have a nice conversation with my wife. The old technology would have made that seemingly impossible. What the new technology is able to drown out the environment, it is able to hone in and focus on that which my wife is saying, and I'm able to have a lovely conversation with her because I'm able to understand her. And for someone who has been born with a hearing impairment, being able to understand the small things is a great thing to me. And that's what this new technology has allowed me to do. So for the last 5 years that I've been coming in and out of this wonderful place, I have dealt primarily with Dr. Koskowski. And what Dr. Koskowski has done was she took a little bit of my background history, a little bit of my occupation, and we were able to fine-tune these instruments that are in my ears that are adapting to the environment that I am in on a day-to-day basis. So she has just done a wonderful, an amazing job at adapting my environment to me, changing my instruments every time I come in here, just fine-tuning them a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. And I can't even tell you how much I appreciate the hard work that she has done to improve my quality of life with the new instruments and the fine-tuning of them. I have now referred quite a few people to this practice. Well, I wouldn't even call it a practice, I would call it a hangout place. It's just wonderful. As I said, from the first time that I walked in, it was a wonderful experience just from my very first impression. And that first impression is upheld until even through today. And what they do is they provide an environment in which it's a welcoming environment, it's a friendly environment, it's a place that you look forward to these appointments that you have in your calendar. And I told my referrals, I was like, you guys got to check this place out. Granted, it was my grandmother, it was my uncle, it was my wife's grandparents, and they were due for some hearing aids, but there is a difference between getting some hearing aids at your local shop down the street and getting instruments here. These instruments have improved their quality of life, as they say. Each each of those four have used those exact words. They have improved my quality of life. And for someone who is hearing impaired, that means a great deal. And so I recommended them to hear, and they actually came by and they got their own instruments, and they have just told me what a wonderful place this is. They have thanked me so many times for referring them here, and since then I can't wait to come back.